everybody. I have a question for you. If you had to make a choice between risking the lives of everyone, including yourself, in a Hail Mary attempt to defy desperate submarine ghosts, or merely sacrificing just one of your companions so the rest of you could go home, what would you do? How can you be so sure?
I don't know what you mean, so I can't.
Bobtail. Please, children, guys. See you soon.
Alex!
I don't like being evil in video games. Not because of the fact that evil routes are usually a pretty predictable illusion of choice where the outcome is the same no matter what. And not even because typically evil routes are often written in such a way that it makes our character be a jerk just for the sake of being a jerk. No, for me, I don't like being evil in video games simply because it makes me feel bad. I genuinely don't want to hurt a character's feelings, and this is especially true for my companions. But after a chat with a few friends of mine who don't mind making morally questionable choices for the sake of the story, I started to think about morality systems in games, and I wanted to explore how things would play out if I always picked the bad option. So I decided to create the darkest timeline in Oxenfree. In this video, we're going to dissect what it means to choose evil in the game, what it feels like to make those choices, and whether or not there are any justifiable reasons for someone to be this cruel. You know, for science.
It's just that I've been staring at your face so much, I'm gonna be dreaming about clawing your eyes out tomorrow. What?
So what's the difference between morals and ethics anyway? And why does it even matter? A lot of people use the words morals and ethics interchangeably, but they're not quite the same. Think of it this way. Morals are our internal sense of right and wrong, and they're often formed from a combination of influences such as our culture, religion, upbringing, or even just our own personality. Ethics, on the other hand, is more external. It's the expression of morality as defined by the larger group. More like the shared rules we build as a society, codes of conduct, philosophical frameworks, and the general acceptable manner that the group that you're a part of expects for you to behave. As I went through the game, I noticed that the evil timeline of Alex boiled down to mostly the same thing. Alex says something snarky, dismissive, or downright cruel to someone who really didn't deserve it, over and over and over again. However, this made the playthrough feel a bit hollow because oftentimes her responses didn't really seem to serve the plot. So I decided to put on my therapist cap and I asked myself, is there any justifiable reason for Alex to act this way? And the answer to that is no. But also, kind of yes. Let me explain.
I just want to say, I think it would have been cool us living together for whatever, senior year.
Let's start with Jonas, her brand new stepbrother. They've known each other for all of maybe 12 hours, and she's already doing everything she can to break him down.
It's not like you have some condition, Jonas. You're just a little slow on the uptake, that's all.
Jonas does his best to be open, helpful, respectful, but Alex, she's sarcastic, she's passive-aggressive, she's cold, and she's just a big old meanie. And it really, really annoyed me. She takes every opportunity to cut him down or blame him for tuning into the portal, even though no one would have had any idea that anything like that would have happened. She yells at him for any little thing, even when he just had to pee. And she straight up tells him that she thinks he's an idiot.
Wow, you think I'm an idiot?
Yep, but don't worry. I won't hold it against you.
Oh, thanks.
And even when he tries to, build a bridge by saying, I don't want my new sister to get hurt or killed, she mocks him for being afraid. Like, who wouldn't be afraid in this situation? Even though she repeatedly says things that most people would have left her ass for, Jonas keeps trying to have civil conversations.
My dad was really happy to move here, He said the schools were safer, less knifings per capita. I guess he never considered the danger of whatever's happening right now. But, No
offense, but your town sounds like the worst place on Earth.
Well, it's not like your town, we'll put it that way.
He does sometimes appear annoyed at her, but mostly he just responds in an, "Oh really? That's what you think of me?" kind of way. It would have been nice for him to have a few more snappy comebacks. However, he does have moments where he tells her exactly how he feels. For instance, when she fails the quiz at Fort Milner and then she yells at him for not helping her even though he was the one possessed, he actually calls her evil.
Yeah, I know you just went through like an event or something, but I could have really used your help back there.
You are an evil person.
But okay, let's just imagine that Jonas has a legitimate reason to hang in there. Maybe it's because he wants connection just that much, especially on an island full of ghosts. I mean, who wouldn't want a friend? Besides, he's new to the group, he's new to town, and Alex is really the only person that he knows. But instead of pulling closer, she keeps pushing him away. And there could be an understandable reason for this. The other day I ran across a comment on a YouTube video that had absolutely nothing to do with the topic of this video, but it did make me think of Alex. It said, her biggest problem is that she feels betrayed because her mother died suddenly. She can't grieve properly, so she's displaced her grief on the ex-boyfriend. Now, let's rework that. Replace the word mother with the word brother, and replace ex-boyfriend with new stepbrother. Now suddenly we have a clearer picture of what might be happening with this Alex. Jonas is taking Michael's place in her home, and he's taking Michael's place within the family, and she's having trouble dealing with it as it feels like the last memories of her brother are being erased. She even had to help prepare Michael's room for this guy that she never met, which she probably didn't get a say in. Even if the room had been empty since Michael died, that space was still his.
Oh, and thanks for setting up the attic for me. It's cool how it's like a little bedroom. I was in the basement at my old house, so this is an...
Well, we didn't actually set it up for you.
And there's something sacred about that kind of memory space. I mean, look at the home, and what remains of Edith Finch is one gigantic shrine to every single Finch who ever lived in that home. Jonas is not the direct cause of her anger, but those feelings are being projected onto him due to her grief and, quite frankly, her guilt for her role in Michael's death. And before she has even really come to terms with it all, I mean, she's dyed her hair blue. My God, how symbolic is that of grieving? Alex is having to see it torn away from her, and her pain needs somewhere to go. And unfortunately, it's to Jonas.
Why? Why is this? Why? Actually, thanks for coming, by the way.
Sure.
Why is this happening?
Then there's Ren, who has been her best friend for pretty much her entire life. I did not like the way evil Alex treated Ren. It felt absolutely unacceptable. During Truth or Slap, Alex outs him for lying about having a crush on Nona after he just asked her to keep it a secret. Just flat out embarrassing him, and she wasn't even playing the game. She only jumped in to shame him, laughed about it, and actually slapped him to the absolute shock of everyone.
All right, Alex, you get first blood. Slap him like he stole something.
I can't believe this is happening.
This really doesn't. Hush, this is for your honor. Watch and relish.
Oh.
Jeez, I didn't think you had it in you.
Yeah, she's full of surprises.
And okay, sure, it's the rules of the game, right? If you're caught lying, the person can slap you. However, if Alex does choose to play, Ren will ask her the question of who she wants to marry, screw, kill. If Alex refuses to answer, Clarissa will say that that's a forfeit and that the forfeit is the same as a lie. However, instead of slapping her, Ren says that if answering makes her uncomfortable, that she doesn't have to answer. He even takes on the responsibility, adding that since his question was a stupid question, she shouldn't have to incur the consequences. So yeah, that's the difference between someone who values friendship over someone who claims to be upholding the rules of some silly high school game.
Yeah, what the hell was up with you and the whole me liking her thing during the game? I mean, okay, fine, fun is fun, but I'm trying to get in with this girl, and it was as if you liked making me look like an idiot.
Later on, when Ren decides not to leave the way station because he's been hearing things and he's pretty terrified, Alex is annoyed and she lashes out at him because they had to go get him. He sounded so scared and she showed no sympathy.
What? You made us walk all the... We had to take a goddamn moving bridge thing to get here, and all you had to do was go through a fence to get to the comm tower?
I didn't want to leave. I was scared. I'm sorry.
Never mind the fact that she has had Jonas by her side the entire night. Meanwhile, he's been all by himself. Playing as this version of Alex made me wonder if she even liked Ren. She mocked his fears, she dismissed his feelings, and even actively worked against him getting together with Nona, even after he specifically asked for her help. Now, the only time I did understand her frustration with him was when he ate that second magic brownie at a time when everyone really needed to be clear-headed. I mean, I think we can all agree that wasn't the best decision. But the way she treats him overall, like he's a silly, useless irritation, there was no good reason for this. Ren really deserved a better friend than that.
Clarissa, you just better hope there's 2 boats or something, because you're not sitting anywhere close to me.
You better hope there's 2 boats for your giant ego if you think you can dictate the evacuation terms.
Okay, haha. Enough jousting and reposting. Let's carry on.
And then there's Clarissa. Clarissa is set up to be the mean girl of the game, but during the flashback with Michael, we see a very different side of her. One who smiles, one who is pleasant. Although she was often depressed, she was clearly in a happy place with him. Even when Alex is rude to her, Clarissa continues to try to bond over their shared love of Michael. Perhaps there was some resentment there. Maybe Alex stole Michael's attention away, even though Clarissa specifically said that she did not want this to be the case.
It doesn't matter, Clarissa. Do what you want.
No, it does matter. It does matter. I want you to feel good about the situation, you know? I want this to be good.
So honestly, the way that Alex acts in this scene kind of makes her the mean girl. When Jonas is introduced to the group, we begin to see that Clarissa too is still grieving. She is shocked by Alex's new stepbrother, and now she has to process this new information. Unlike Alex, she didn't have the luxury of getting used to the idea of Jonas before he just showed up. So she lashes out, in part because she does blame Alex for Michael's death, and in part because now she has to sit around with not 1, but 2 people who remind her of the hurt that she's carrying.
Oh my god. You see this?
No, come on, Clarissa. Let's not do this right
You're
now.
gonna learn, Jonas. I swear to God. The town looks at her like she has a red letter tattooed on her freaking
Clarissa.
forehead. And the giant, lit up Christmas tree reason why is that Michael is dead because of her. Because of her.
Sadly, since she's been taking her anger out on Alex all of this time, Alex just views Clarissa as a monster who hates her. She doesn't even consider the fact that they're in a similar pain. Alex has no compassion for Clarissa and thinks she's pretty heartless. But the others don't quite see her that way. Sure, Ren says that she only feels full when she's pissed at something, but he considers her a friend and vice versa. Nona cares for her so much she goes out looking for her in the woods. And even Jonas says that she's only sometimes mean. So honestly, she's not that bad. And maybe I'm misinterpreting, but there were a couple of times when I felt like Clarissa actually wanted Alex to care about her. For instance, when she wanted to know if Alex came to Fort Milner to help her or just because there was a radio. I feel like she wanted to matter to Alex, at least a little bit.
Clarissa.
Oh, well, look at this. The super twins decided to grace me with their presence. I thought maybe I wasn't good enough for a house.
Okay, don't even start, Clarissa. We came. We're here. Be happy.
All right, don't get all, but be honest. Did you come because I needed help, or did you come because there was a radio?
Clarissa.
I want to hear it from Alex.
Well, I mean...
Yes, we would have. We're not going to leave you behind, okay?
You're a good boy, Jonas, but watch out for that one.
However, Alex can't see that because once you've decided someone doesn't deserve your compassion, you can stop having the capacity for empathy. It's like that joke about the bitch eating crackers where you hate someone so much that it gets to the point where everything they do irritates you, even if they're just eating some crackers. That's how Alex feels about Clarissa.
Listen, Jonas, I did something just now that you need to know. I traded Clarissa to the ghosts so they'd let the rest of us go.
No, you didn't. Alex, how could? We had a plan. We had You are an evil person.
Now let's bring this back to morality and ethics. When Alex accepts the proposition to allow Clarissa to be taken by the Sunken, what we see is a breakdown between these two systems. Morally, she feels fine about it. She probably even feels glad about it, but she still tries to ethically justify it to her friends, stressing that this is the only way to be sure that the rest of them make it back. The Sunken chose Clarissa first, and they absorbed more into her than anyone else. So when they offer Alex a deal, let us keep her and we won't come for the rest, Alex does not hesitate. Clarissa being possessed is not Alex's choice, but not resisting, not even trying to fight it, not even wanting to look for Clarissa anytime she disappeared. Now that is a choice. Ultimately, it comes down to better her than us.
Alex, man, that was like evil.
Yeah, first you kill your own brother, and now you bump off Clarissa because what? She doesn't sit with you at lunch? You dye your hair because you pretend.
Hey, I'm not.
Shut up! Shut up when I'm talking. I'm talking now.
Since she didn't handpick Clarissa, it becomes even easier to justify just letting her go. She's already made the emotional decision that it's just not worth the fight. It's a sacrifice that's best for the group, and she believes that if Clarissa had the chance to sacrifice her, that she would. She even asks Jonas if the decision was his, would he just doom them all? As far as she sees it, there is no in-between. So this creates enough cognitive dissonance that she's able to push aside any guilt, getting to do the wrong thing while feeling that she's not. But is this the wrong thing?
Guys, we can just leave. We can totally leave. That's what this was all about. We're saved.
Jesus.
We are not leaving. None of us are leaving.
Yeah, Alex, we have to get Clarissa back.
Oxenfree isn't just a time loop adventure, it's a philosophical dilemma. And in a weird way, it's an alternative version of the trolley problem. As you may know, in the classic version, there's a train barreling towards 5 people who are tied up on a track. You're standing next to a lever. If you pull it, the train diverts to another track, which will save them. However, the one person tied to the alternate track will die. So the question becomes, do you do nothing and let 5 people die? Or do you actively step in and take the life of that one person? Now, in Oxenfree, Clarissa is already tied to the tracks, while the other 4 of you are standing there with her. The Sunken say, just leave her there and we'll let the rest of you walk away. Do you spend precious time trying to untie Clarissa and risk everyone dying? Or do you just step off the track and 4 of you get to go home? Okay, I admit it's not a perfect analogy, and it probably sounded better in my head when I came up with this idea, but you see where I'm going with this? Because once you frame it this way, it kind of sounds reasonable, logical even. We'll all die unless we do this. It's the classical ethical theory of utilitarianism, which encourages us to do the greatest good for the greatest number. So by this theory, losing one Clarissa is better than losing an Alex, Ren, Jonas, Nona, and Clarissa. But here's the thing. Alex is really just trying to rationalize things because it's not just about the numbers. It's about who is on the tracks. Nona really yells at her to go back on her deal with the Sunken. Ren calls her evil for even being willing to go through with it, and Jonas begs her to reconsider her decision. And eventually Alex does agree. Not because it's right, not because she cares, but just to get everyone off her back. Because the truth is, she just doesn't like Clarissa.
I don't know why this has to be said.
If I have to, if it'll make everyone get off my back.
Oh my god,
It's okay, it's fine. She agreed. We're doing it.
We are to assume that the Sunken are evil. 97 lost souls stuck in an endless time loop purgatory, intent on taking over the bodies of whoever is unlucky enough to open the temporal tear between dimensions. But listen closely. Listen to the way they speak. Listen to the things they say. They don't sound evil. They sound tired. They sound desperate. And they sound like they feel like they're out of options.
You think us cruel? Do you think us callous? We
They mention their mothers, about going home, wanting to know finally, is leave possible?
Do you think we want this?
We don't.
Want this?
They are souls who've been lost so long they don't even remember their own names, only their pain.
What have I done? I've sacrificed. I've made immense, bottomless sacrifices.
And yet, despite all of that, when they offer Alex the deal, even they seem surprised at how willing she is to go along with it.
Take her, then.
You know, it's not often that we meet someone your age that's as mature as you are, Alex. You really understand things.
Now, don't get me wrong, the Sunken are for sure the antagonists of the game. I mean, they are trying to absorb themselves into the bodies of teenagers so that they can take over their life. That's pretty classic villain behavior right there. But what's wild is that the Sunken seem to, at least, have more room for empathy and reflection than Alex does. They know that they're doing wrong. They admit that they're clinging to their anger because it's all they have left.
It's hard to remember certain things. Our faces went a while ago, then our names.
Names. Our names. But our anger.
Anger is, we're afraid, all we have left. That's kind of the last stitch.
Meanwhile, this version of Alex never apologizes, she doesn't reflect, she never even really considers that she might be wrong. When the others call her evil to her face, she just shrugs it off.
Maybe it's... I don't know, maybe it's like what matters to us showed up or something.
The universe doesn't care about what matters to us.
Then it doesn't matter anyway.
No, I guess it doesn't.
And honestly, that's where the immersion kind of broke for me. I mean, I could understand her initial rationalization. The idea of doing whatever it takes to survive makes sense. Even some of her rude actions toward her friends look like they made some sense if I put on my therapist glasses and, squinted my eyes really hard. But it was really unrealistic how the dialogue continued to double down, and it just felt like such a awkward commitment to being unnecessarily cruel. It didn't feel real, more like a cartoon villain twirling their mustache and sneering at the damsel in distress. If Alex was really this cold-hearted, the others wouldn't have looked so shocked when she said the things that she said. I mean, they always got the little Alex bubble. Their surprise implies that this isn't who she is, which makes her character development feel flat and more like the game making Alex be a jerk for the sake of being a jerk.
I'm at the comm tower on Edwards Island.
Hey, she listened to us. Great.
So, if anyone can... What is this? I'm trying to communicate with the...
Does she know how to even work that stuff?
Doesn't sound.
Idiot.
Hey, come on, she's trying. That's... maybe she'll get some.
Trying isn't gonna help us, Ren. Knowing how to contact help is what's gonna help us.
She stopped feeling like a person making hard choices in a hard situation and started to feel like someone who had no conscience. Plus, since in the Evil Alex run, in order to earn the I'm the Firestarter achievement, you have to save Clarissa at the end. After all, your friends won't be able to hate you if they don't even remember that she ever existed. I went back through and played the silent Alex timeline where you don't speak, and at the end of the game, you just quietly walk away, leaving Clarissa trapped for all eternity. And what do you get for completely ignoring everyone? Michael comes back from the dead. She's still good friends with Ren, and she's so close with Jonas that she considers him her other brother. So I guess the moral of that story is, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. At least I got my 100% achievement, right? If you enjoyed watching me go down this rabbit hole about the psychology of fictional people, then good news, I do this kind of thing a lot. Well, that's all, folks. I've been Journey, and I'll see you in the next one.